Dawn broke at the Whitwell and Reepham Railway, where the visitor May was being prepared for the weekend's gala. But we're not interested in that. We're going over to the resident, Agecroft number 3, because the man who had set fire to this morning is none other than the host of LMM. Yes, it's Lawrie, doing an actual turn on the footplate, and by the looks of things, actually doing some cleaning.
I am a fireman, so I meant to look at the fire, but I'm also doing the cleaning.
So we'll leave him to continue with his cleaning, and welcome to Chasing Dinosaurs.
Now, even though I am the fireman, that doesn't just mean that I'm looking after the fire. It also means that I've got all of the brass in here to try and tidy up and make it look nice and smart for the day. Because if we keep on top of this, and every day we do a bit of the brass, it means that it's going to be nice for the future and stay nice. It's also hot.
And it wasn't just me getting engines ready. Over on the other line, Ruston 88 Topocity was being fired up. This ex-Ransoms of Ipswich locomotive was on standby to be the Thunderbird locomotive in case anything went wrong. Sitting next door to the 88 was the visitor, May, which was having its ashpan swept out by the driver in preparation for going off-shed and beginning the day. Having this engine visit the Whitwell and Reepham was really exciting because this one had spent its working life 17 miles away from our own locomotive Agecroft number 3. So to have these two locomotives that worked up in the north together in East Anglia was really something special, and was 2 years since the railway last had 2 operational locomotives on site. The gala was to celebrate 15 years of the Whitwell and Reepham Railway coming into existence, as well as celebrating 65 years since the closure of the M&GNJR, which was the railway that came through the site here at Reepham. I was still busying myself working on the brass inside the cab, and around me the rest of the guys were helping to get the engine ready by loading up the bunker with coal. And whilst we were being coaled up, May's crew took her off the pit, which meant it was available for us to move on to it. And as we wanted to move, that meant that I needed to finish off cleaning up the gauge frames, reattach the gauge protector and turn them back on to show us how much water we had in the boiler. As I'd had the gauge frame drained and isolated from the boiler pressure when working on it, I blew it through with steam first to warm up the glass. There is a risk that if I just opened up the frame and the hot water hit the cold glass, that it could shatter. So warming the frame up first is the best way to avoid that unpleasantness happening. And once the engine was safe and ready, it was our turn to go over the pit. And once we were over the pit, it was time to give the engine a final once-over and a check to make sure we'd picked up all the loose rags and other gubbins, whilst the driver went underneath to do the motion. And whilst we were doing this, May headed off to do an inspection of the line. And whilst May was out of the way, I completed my prep by checking the injectors, and then we could move off to pick up the brake van and start services for the day. And having reached the other end, we made our way back. And with us back in the platform, it was time for May to start organising the freight. And with the freight movement complete, we propelled back with the brake van, uncoupled, and ran round, ready to come onto the front of the freight for the first demonstration freight of the day. We were on the front of the train and coupled up, we could proceed with the first demonstration. Having returned to the siding and uncoupled May, we pulled forward with the freight to release May so we could go work the passenger service. With May out of the way, we were able to propel back into the siding and May could begin its passenger service. It was about now that we had an idea to do something that had never been done at Reepham before. And having completed the first ever parallel run on the Whitwell and Reepham Railway, May took the opportunity to refill its tanks, and with nothing else to do, I decided to go into the exhibition area and have a look at some of the layouts that were on display.
Okay, cheers.
There was a genuinely impressive amount of layouts covering all sorts of gauges and sizes, and a good amount of traders too, including my friends over at Great Eastern Model Railways. And even though May was out running the service and Agecroft wasn't currently needed, I needed to return to my engine to make sure the fire was still alight and that it would be ready for when we were next required. That transpired to be a lot of sitting around doing nothing, so I resorted to what I do best, posing out of a steam engine. Although, in truth, it wasn't long before we were asked to draw the freight train forward, and May shunted back and uncoupled from the brake van, ready to couple to the back of the freight train for another demonstration run. Next up, Agecroft was going back on the passenger service, so we were uncoupled from the freight and pulled forward. Meanwhile, the Peckett pushed the freight stock back up into the siding. All too soon, it was time for the final trains of the day, and after a quick reshuffle, we had a double-header working the brake van. Yes, definitely a little bit overkill, but certainly a nice way to mark the end of the first weekend. And this is the final train making its way back to the platform, marking the end of the day here at the Whitwell and Reepham Railway as we celebrate 15 years since the railway was reborn here. And if you've watched this video and thought, wow, that looked a really good weekend and I wish I'd gone, then worry not, because this weekend coming, it's all happening again, because this is a 2-weekend event. So come along and see the 2 locomotives in action with a variety of brake van rides and demonstration freights, as well as model railways on display and a selection of traders, meaning it's a good all-round day out, and then treat yourself to a drink in the bar afterwards. Parking is off-site and you're brought to the railway with a free bus service, which all round makes it a nice transporty day. And with that, thank you all very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this one, how about clicking over there somewhere for last year's event, or below that for the year before that. And go check out the Whitwell and Reepham Railway's website for more information on the event and to make sure everything is tickety-boo before you travel. And with that, thanks for watching guys, we'll see you